Hello, and welcome to Growing Gracefully. This is a space for holistic healing, mindful living, and authentic soul development. This is a space where we explore the tools, practices, and perspectives that support us in moving from survival into thriving in a life we get to truly love. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. My name is Brandi, and I'm so happy to welcome my very dear friend, Dawn from High Vibration Energy. Hi, Dawn. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Brandi. How are you?
I'm doing really, really good. I'm really excited. This has been something that's been in the works for me personally for about 7 years. So I feel really excited and honored that you're here on my very first podcast for Growing Gracefully. So thank you so much for being here. Dawn is what I call my business bestie. And it's just kind of a cute little thing. We are actually friends, but we also get to do some really cool things in our life together. Dawn is a holistic healing practitioner who specializes in integrative bodywork, vibroacoustical therapy, and energy work. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And Dawn and I, we actually joined forces in June of 2025, I think it was. And when Dawn joined our doTERRA community, so many things changed for us. So Dawn and I first kind of got together a couple of years ago, and some other things that we were interested in. We were in a spiritual community together, and we were networking together. We were a part of the High Desert Boss Moms. We're a part of a couple of other communities. But it really wasn't until we joined forces with doTERRA that we got to really maneuver through life so much differently. So I'm so glad that you joined doTERRA in June of 2025. Before we get into your story, I'd like to share just a little bit about my story. So I started with doTERRA about 12 to 13 years ago. I can't remember the exact year that I started. But my journey with doTERRA started because I was looking for more natural solutions. I was looking for a way that I could heal my body, heal my mind, and heal my soul without using toxic chemicals and a lot of things that were going to contribute to the sickness that I was dealing with. I remember my first experience with essential oils, like I said, was about 12 or 13 years ago. I was in a mom's group, and moms share about different things about their bodies and things that they're going through. And that's how we really connect when we share. So I was sharing about some health challenges that I was going through at that time. And one of my friends said, I think I have an oil for that. I have somebody in my upline. I'm with a company called doTERRA, and I think there's some solutions that can help you. Let me talk to her, and we're going to create what's called a roller blend, and we're going to put essential oils in there. And mind you, I had no idea what essential oils were. I think I had smelled some lavender and peppermint randomly, somewhere. So this was my very first experience. When I was in my 20s, I was on between 11 and 15 different pills a day. And the doctors kept giving me more and more pills, and I kept becoming sicker and sicker and sicker. And I knew that I wanted something else for my life. And I lived that way actually for about 9 to 10 years. And I had my son, Vincent, he's 15 now. And I had him when I was 29. I had doctors tell me, don't get pregnant, don't have a child. You're going to stay the same, or you're going to get worse, and you're going to end up in a wheelchair within the next few years. That was when I was 20. I'm now 43. I'm not in a wheelchair. I have a 15-year-old, healthy, beautiful child. And can I say that it was because of doTERRA and the essential oils? Yes, and it is taking the holistic approach to my life. Just like I always say, you can't eat one salad and expect your whole life to change. You can't do one breathwork session and expect everything to change. It's the holistic approach, right? And we'll talk more about that later. As you being a holistic wellness practitioner and all the things that you do, you understand that it's body, mind, spirit.
Correct.
So at this time, I was working on my body. I was working on my mind, but again, I needed something else. So my friend talked to her upline. She got that roller bottle. She filled it with certain essential oils to help with what I was going through. And on faith, I bought this roller bottle, and I used it for the first time. Didn't know how to really apply oils. I used my natural innate wisdom, my intuition on how to apply the oils where. And again, I just trusted. I had positive benefits within 30 minutes of using those essential oils. At that moment, I was hooked. And for, I want to say about 10 or 11 years, I just used the couple oils that I was introduced to. I bought, a couple roller blends here and there from some friends. And I just continued to use the oils to the best of my ability. But I had no training. I had no team. I had no education. I had no community. I was just on a raft on my own. That friend that I first met, she soon moved back to the East Coast and we lost contact. So again, I was just on my own. I was buying roller bottles at the farmer's market, different things like that. Just kind of, again, on my own. But then it was 2 years ago that I joined a doTERRA community with our upline and dear friend Katrina Lotz and Denise Kuhn. And I started taking classes from them, and I started to realize that there was so much more to doTERRA than, the couple of little oils that I was introduced to firsthand. So that's kind of a little bit about how I came to be in doTERRA. And so the last 2 or 3 years, I have joined the business side of doTERRA, and we started doing classes, and Growing Gracefully was something that started out as an in-person gathering where we would talk about, tools, tips, practices, different modalities. We would do breath work. We would do sound healing. We would pass around the oils. And then we started to incorporate some of the foundational wellness products. And that's when things really started to change, because now I shifted from essential oils to now implementing more of the supplements with the doTERRA company, because I was learning the science about them. I was learning the ways to use them, when to use them, what they're good for. And that was a really great experience for me to learn and grow and develop. But then, as we talked about earlier, it wasn't until June of 2025 that Dawn joined our doTERRA community, and Dawn started to have really great positive benefits with the foundational wellness products. And from there, I was kind of hooked on your experiences. And now we both get to share all of the positive benefits that we both have experienced over the last almost year. So with all that being said, thank you so much for being here, Dawn, my little business bestie. I want to hear from you. So let's hear a little bit about you, about your background, your story, whatever you'd like to share, and how you joined doTERRA and why, and a little bit about what you've experienced so far.
Okay. Thank you, Brandi. It's an honor to be here with you today.
You're welcome.
So I got into the holistic healing field because I had neuropathy, and they told me I was going to end up not walking again, and it was gradually moving up my legs, and my feet were always sticking in a hotbed of coals and burning, and I would shake my feet at night to sleep and wear holes in my sheets in 2 to 3 weeks. It was that bad, and the doctors put me on gabapentin, and unfortunately that masked a little bit of the symptoms, but didn't make it really go away. But it was affecting my eyes and making me go blind. So I decided to try something different, and I went and got a Reiki treatment where I didn't even really notice anything happen, but something changed in my brain. And so I went ahead and became a Reiki master, and then went on to sound healing. And between those two things, I actually turned the neuropathy around, and it's completely gone now.
Fantastic.
But then I noticed all of a sudden that I was getting fatigued in the afternoon, around between 2 and 3 o'clock every day. I was just exhausted and didn't know how I was going to carry out my day. And I'm a very busy person, so that was not good. And then I also was having the brain fog thing, when you walk into a room and you have your phone in your hand and you're like, where is my phone?
Yeah, I think we've all experienced that.
So this was not just a once in a while occasion. It was happening all the time. And I was like, what is going on with me? And then, of course, I was, round the corner from 60 and I was contributing it to age, and I was starting to get real scaly, like alligator snake skin. And I was just thought, okay, this is just something I'm going to have to live with. This is a thing that happens as we get older, right?
Yeah.
And then you and our upline, Katrina, were doing a class at the Spiritual Center, and I went to the class, and I was very intrigued when she started talking about the foundational wellness kit, and you guys gave us samples, and I tasted it and I liked it. And when she started talking about how our gut health has so much to do with, all of a sudden she says fatigue and brain fog, and she talked about our skin conditions happening because our gut health is not right, and because she started mentioning, ding ding, all the things are going off in my head.
Hey, that's me.
And then she added in, and if you're getting bloating and you're feeling like you're having a digestive issues and so on and so forth, and so it kind of convinced me to go ahead and try it. Mm-hmm. So the miracle for me was how quickly it worked for me. I assume it was probably faster for me than a lot of other people because I was in such a state of ready to receive and believe, and
isn't that true? Because your business is high vibration energy, you actually work the tools, practices, and modalities to keep your vibration high. So you were already vibrating at a certain frequency that you were receptive to integrating some new healthy habits for yourself, right? So I think that's why it helped you a little bit sooner, because your body was more ready and receptive to it.
I believe that our body works on a whole field of not just like our gut or our mind and our holistic wellness on, how we meditate, or if we're being mindfulness, or if we're doing self-care practices. It all works together. Mm-hmm. And so I already had a big piece of the pie.
Right. Yeah.
Let's say. And I was missing that sliver. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I was getting close to like a piece that surpassed all understanding.
Yeah.
But because I was having that fatigue and brain fog and just not knowing what was going on, I couldn't obtain that complete peace. Uh-huh. And when I started taking this, suddenly the fatigue was gone like right away. It was something that, it didn't take but a few days, and the fatigue, that afternoon fatigue, I was like, okay, hey, I've got energy that I didn't expect, basically.
Did you think that it was kind of a fluke at first when you first started to notice those healthy, positive benefits?
I was like, yeah, no, this can't be this simple.
Right.
Really is what it was. This can't be this simple, right? And then it was only less than about a week to week and a half, and the brain fog started going away. All of a sudden, I wasn't like I could put a class together, in 30 minutes. But before that, it was taking me days, right, sometimes even weeks to get my thoughts together enough to pull together a class that I could teach. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm starting to be able to think clearly again, And then it took about a month, and then all of a sudden my skin was better again. And I was like, oh, so it's really not old age, right?
This is reversing. So what's going on here?
Right. So, and honestly, I've been on it, I want to say 7-8 months now.
I think it's close to 8 months now, consistently.
And I take it every day. Mm-hmm. I only have missed one day in that 8 months, but I can honestly say that I have homeostasis now. Mm-hmm. So I have that peace that surpasses all understanding. And I don't have anxiety or fear or all of the things that, we would normally have given a situation that comes into our lives. And I used to handle things like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then it'd play that record in my head and
over
blah, blah,
and
blah.
Over. Right? Stay stuck in that loop.
So now that I've got that final piece of the pie and my gut is right to clear out that part, now I've noticed that I've lost some weight. I lost about 17 pounds and maintained it without changing my diet, without changing anything else. Okay?
Yeah.
And I've never been able to maintain any weight loss. It's always lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it, and usually gain back more than I lost in the first place.
The whole yo-yo.
But that hasn't happened. And we're 8 months in, and my energy levels are through the roof. Like I feel like I'm aging backwards. Mm-hmm. And that is to me, it's a miracle thing. And I just want everybody to know. Now, I'm not going to tell everybody that, hey, it's going to work for you the same way it did me. Because the fact of the matter is that our systems don't normally heal and repair that quickly. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more that goes into it. And if you're what I call stinking thinking is going on, you kind of have to help that a little bit too, because the stress and the stuff that we're holding on to is actually making it take longer to work for us.
Yeah, because the body's having to work harder to work through all of that stress, cut that stress out so that it can actually be in a state of receptivity to receive the nutrients and the vitamins and all of the support that we're providing with the foundational wellness and the essential oils.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then the thing that I love about the doTERRA is it uses our body's own natural intelligence, because it's 100% natural and pure ingredients. And because of that and the way it works with our systems, where especially with smell and the way that works and passes the blood-brain barrier without having to fight to get through, it works so quickly. And so, and then the liposomal delivery system of the supplements actually make it so it's bioavailable for our body, so we don't have to go find out what else we have to take.
Right.
So to me, it's just my wonder drug, to be honest. And so that's how I came to be in it, and why I want to share it, and why I build classes around it. And I just want to teach people how to get what I have.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing so much about your story and what you've been through the last 8 months. The transformation that I have seen within you has helped to inspire me to continue with my consistency. As you know, I started the foundational wellness first. And due to different reasons, I wasn't as consistent with it before. Right. Again, I don't want to say it this way, but just for lack of any other word, I was struggling with severe burnout and severe exhaustion. And I was starting to suffer and struggle with some of those symptoms that were resurfacing from 20 years ago. And I thought, well, wait a minute. If I have held this stuff back for 20 years, why is this stuff coming back up to the surface now? What's different? What's changing now? It was my mindset. It was my habits. It was the energy and vibration that I was around. It was the emotions that I was holding within my body. So even though I had the supplements, I had everything at my fingertips, it takes a certain mindset to be able to consistently consume, consistently use, consistently reach for those tools, practices, modalities, those things that we know that have helped us in the past. But it takes that willingness. And, knowing and doing are completely different things. I have known about this stuff for a very, very long time. Right. Intuitively, I knew about it. Then I learned. Then I got to apply and experience. And then I stopped for a while. And that's on me. But again, once I saw your dedication and your commitment to yourself, that inspired me.
That's kind of what it takes, Brandi, is no matter what we do in life, we have to make a decision when we want to make a change. And that decision has to be an all or nothing decision. It's like, I could have said, oh, let me try this and take one here and take one there. But then I wasn't really giving myself the opportunity to gain what it has to offer. If we're not consistent in the things that we do, we fall off.
Absolutely.
Right. And the importance of being consistent when you're taking supplements and things like that, if you're not consistent, you backtrack way faster than you go forward.
Right. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
So the consistency is super important. And because our bodies, our cells take about 90 days to turn over. So we need to be consistent for at least 90 days every day to know whether or not it's actually doing something for us or not. And most people in our popcorn world,
right?
In our microwave society that we have right now.
Instant mindset.
Everybody wants, if it doesn't happen right now, then it must not be working. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't give ourselves and our bodies the opportunity to actually do something for us. And we quit before the miracle comes. Mm-hmm. And that's the part where, for me, okay, if I'm going to spend this money on this, because I'm frugal. I don't spend money on things for myself.
That aren't very meaningful.
I do stuff for everybody else.
Yes,
but if it's for myself, I am so frugal. And I am like, if I'm going to spend this money on myself, you're darn right, I'm going to take it every day, and I'm going to give my body the opportunity. And I was fortunate with that kind of a mindset. It worked for me very quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was determined to give this a chance to see if what Katrina was telling us.
Yeah.
Because of course you can go to classes and you can hear this stuff and you can hear people say
the testimonials
this did for
and
me
everything.
and what this did for but everything doesn't, we're all different, and our body's makeup is different. We're all created individually. No one's exactly the same. So it won't always work for everybody. That's the truth of the matter, but if you're going to try it, then give it a real try. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? You have to understand the length of time that it takes for the cells to turn over in our body. And if you're not going to give it at least that kind of a try, then what's the point?
Well, and think about it. When we go to traditional Western doctors and they give us a pharmaceutical medication, they want you to try it for usually about 3 months. Give it a good 3 months for your body to acclimate, for it to integrate into your system, to start to see results, whether it's blood pressure medication, whatever it is. So, of course, as with anything, we have to give our body the right conditions and allow it to acclimate and integrate whatever it is that we are introducing.
Correct.
Just like when we are gardening, right? If we give the right conditions, life will always find a way. So if we give the internal conditions, which is our gut and our brain, the right and perfect opportunity and space and condition to heal, it will heal. Now, one of the reasons why I wasn't as consistent was because of my mindset and what I was going through. But as I started to work the products and I started to rework my systems, I started to have positive benefits. Once I saw those, I thought, let me have my son, who's 15, well, he was 14 at the time, try this, because he was already having some of the symptoms and problems that I was having in my 20s. He was already starting to go through those at 12 and 13 years old. He was having a lot of joint inflammation, brain fog. It was hard for him to study and focus at school, so I thought, well, let me get him on some of these products. And so I was taking my month's supply and splitting it in half. So for the first 2 weeks, man, we're taking our products, we're doing our green drink, we're taking our vitamins every day, we're doing all of this. But then mom didn't have the finances to buy 2 of everything for that first couple of months. So that's really one of the reasons why I was not as consistent, because I was one person buying for 2 or 3 people. If I'm sharing that with my household or my community, sharing, my samples and things. And as you know, as a doTERRA leader, we love to share what we have. That is absolutely what we have.
Yes.
We love to do that, whether it's our oils, our, the modalities that you have, at your business. So again, that consistency and building is really what's going to get you there. And I'm happy to say that with my consistency growing, so has my positive results. So I am now down pound-wise around 40 pounds. And can I say that it was only from taking these supplements? Is it only from doing the green drink? Again, it is that holistic approach, right? Because we talk about like our primary plate. What are we putting on our plate? It's not just about the food.
Right.
It's what are we listening to? What kind of environment are we in? What is our energy and vibration that we are, exposing ourselves to?
Correct.
So as we shift one thing in our life, it helps the other things to start to shift. And so I know firsthand, getting a handle on my foundational wellness lifestyle has helped everything else just elevate in my life. So thank you so much for taking a chance on these products?
Well, I would also like to say that I feel like it benefited you when I came in underneath you and started saying all of this and doing all this, because then it built you on the business side of it, which then made you be able to afford to be able to do it for
Correct.
you and your family. So it's
Yes.
not just an opportunity of getting our health right, but also an opportunity for business that makes it so that you can afford to do this for yourself and your family.
Because now, since you have joined the team and we have been building and growing together and sharing these products and, allowing more people to join our community, this has in turn, with my bumped up commissions, now I'm able to buy 2 of everything. So I can be more consistent and my son can be more consistent. And my hope is that we can continue to grow and share this with the world. doTERRA literally means gift of the earth. Yes. doTERRA means gift of the earth. And I know that Source, our creator, has created everything that we need to thrive.
Absolutely.
Life is meant to be lived, not just survived at the very basic, minimal, basic needs. We can have all of our basic needs are always met. We always have food, shelter, transportation. We have our legs. We can go find food. And we have, as long as we're breathing, we're alive, right? But beyond that, we have everything that we need to actually thrive. Yes. Into a life that we actually love. And you have been able, as you tell me so often, to develop into a place of peace within that surpasses all understanding. And sometimes, honestly, you guys, people in our community, we are in a networking community, we are in a motivational community, and we really love to help people as we're growing ourselves. But one of the things that people kind of talk to you about, Dawn, and they say, well, how? You may have some catastrophe happen in your life, something with your business, some unexpected finances, some whatever. And what do you always tell me? The universe lovingly takes care of me.
Yep. All things work together for the purpose of my good. The
Yes.
universe is conspiring for my greatest good.
Absolutely.
And the same is true for everyone. Mm-hmm. The thing is that people don't believe that. And therefore, when that thought comes along as like, oh, this is disastrous, they grab onto that thought and they start running all of the bad things that could be going on. Well, for me, I don't do that. I'm exactly the opposite. When I go, and believe me, when that leak happened on my roof, the first thing was like, oh my God, this is like detrimental. And then I was like, no, wait a minute. There's, the rain only rained just enough to make a small leak that caused this little hole, so I started looking for the good in the situation.
Yeah.
And that situation actually turned out to getting me 6 clients and, so, and a whole new lifestyle. A repair on my roof for them to take it apart and see what was going on. It was so little that they fixed it for free. They just charged me the original quote to tear it down, right? And they put everything back and everything and didn't charge me anything extra for that.
How great.
And these kind of things, they happen in my life regularly. Yep. Like, as you know, I tell you all the time.
Things work out.
And the reason why is because my brain does not play the negative tape. Mm-hmm. I don't do it.
You stop that loop.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to. And it didn't change overnight. But for me, I listen to positive affirmations consistent. Now, I don't have to do that all the time anymore.
Right.
Because my brain is programmed now. But I listened to them consistently. I would play them at night when I was sleeping. I would play them in the car while I was driving to a client's house. I play them on my TV in the living room while I'm doing dishes.
Right.
And just have those positive affirmations just filling my brain. So nothing else was going in.
Helping to reprogram that subconscious mind, right?
Yes. Getting a hold of those thoughts back there that like when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I hate this part about me, or I hate that part, and I don't do that. I no longer, that doesn't, if I look and I go, oh, and then I'm like, oh, but I'm beautiful and I'm made unique and wonderful just the way I am. That's the truth. We are all created wonderfully unique and perfect just the way we are. It's that tape from whatever, our environments, our past, people that we've hung around, the music we're listening to,
Absolutely.
the TV shows that we're watching. You know, what you're feeding your spirit is what you're accepting for yourself from the world. You know?
Yeah.
And so for me, that positive affirmations was the biggest part, because now I would listen to the affirmation, and when it would say, I am worthy, I am worthy, and I would feel it.
Yes. Embody
that feeling while I'm listening to those. And so now when something comes up where in the past I would have been, oh yeah, Dawn, you're not worthy of anything. You don't deserve, you did this in your past, and you did that, and you have this, and I don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, I am worthy. And I am beautiful. And it doesn't matter if I've made mistakes. Everybody does, because we are human.
Right.
You know?
We're here to make mistakes and learn.
And I'm a great person, you know, and I'm allowed to hang on to those things and not have to I don't even care if someone else is judging me, because first off, I'm on their mind, so they're paying attention to me for whatever reason, you know. So that makes me worthy right there, right? No matter what kind of they're thinking about me, I'm worthy of their attention, right? So I turn that into, well, I'm worthy. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and I don't let anybody else tell me who I am anymore. You know, I have always put in 100% plus for everything and everyone that I do, because that's just who I am. Right. And I used to allow someone would say, oh, I don't like the way you did that. I would let that take over, you know, and it would be like, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh yeah, look, I'm screwing up again, you know, and that's just allowing other people to tell me who I am. And it just came a point where when I started feeling that way about myself, what they were saying about myself, that was when I finally said, no. I'm done. No more. You know, I removed that person that was making me feel that way from my existence at the time, and now we're real close friends. But that negativity, I couldn't accept it anymore.
Well, there's that saying, what you allow is what will continue. So as long as we are accepting and allowing that behavior or that action or that vibration or what have you, as long as we're allowing that within ourselves or an environment, that will continue. And then it's on us.
Right. And I was tired of letting other people's perspectives tell me who I was.
Thank you.
Because I know who I am.
Right.
You know, just like I know who you are.
Thank you.
And as often as I can, I tell you, don't let other people make you feel that way. Don't accept that, because it's your acceptance that brings you down. Right. When you accept that whatever that mess is theirs, it's not yours. Yeah. You know, and that's the biggest step in the holistic healing is believing that you're worthy enough to be well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dawn, for sharing all of your wisdom. Thank you for sharing yourself. Thank you for sharing your truth and your authenticity, because that is something that is very important to me and the people that I work with and the people that I share my community. So thank you again so much for everything that you've have brought to my life. You have blessed my life in a variety of ways that I could sit here for 5 hours talking about. One of the ways that I am so grateful to work with Dawn is we like to hold our in-person classes, workshops, and retreats. Dawn has an amazing house house, that she provides sound healing and all of her holistic wellness practices. It's called High Vibration Energy. And Dawn, do you want to share a little bit about our upcoming series for our classes at your house?
Oh, yeah. So we are doing a Makeover Your Medicine Cabinet series. And what this is getting rid of as much pharmaceuticals out of our life as we can and using pure essential oils and supplements to make over that medicine cabinet so that we're not getting the side effects that come with those over-the-counter drugs or those prescription drugs. And we're actually using the natural, pure natural. And what it does is it activates our own body's natural intelligence to heal. And there's no side effects.
No, we call them side benefits instead of side effects, right?
Exactly.
There's so many positive benefits.
And we're going to be doing, it's a 4-class series, and we're doing them every other week. So the first one is starting next Tuesday. The date on that, I believe.
Well, we'll put a flyer up in the end with all of the dates and everything.
There you
go. So if anybody is interested
in
in joining us, if you're local here in the high desert, that's where we're from. We host classes and workshops and retreats and gatherings and things at High Vibration Energy, which is Dawn's business. So we'll put up a little flyer at the end of this video. And I'm just really looking forward to all of the things that we get to do in person. And I'm so grateful to be able to expand and join online to our online community for Growing Gracefully. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Is there anything else that you would like to share for our little final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just want to say what an honor and a pleasure it is to be here. And my goal in life is just to help every person that I can raise their vibration and come to that homeostasis. And I hope to be able to help a lot of people.
Well, you're definitely a leader in our community, and it is an honor to work with you. So thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Take care, be well, and bye-bye.